Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Guess what? It's time for a Tobago segment, and we have a big surprise for you. We are not touching base with our Tobago studio because our Tobago guest is here with us in studio here in Trinidad. His name is Chadband, and he's an author and poet who recently launched his third book this week. Good morning and welcome.
All right, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
We are very happy to have you this morning. Your vibe is great.
Thank you very much.
The name Chadband. Where did you get that name?
Well, that's actually a African name, Imo, and Chadband is my last name. And I use a combination of my full name. People would most likely, in the writer's world, I would be as I.Wimana.c.
I.Wimana.c.
Yep.
Whoa, what is that?
All right, so that's a combination of my full name now. So it's the initials from my first name, Imo, and my last name, Chadband. Okay. So that's the I and the C. And my middle name is Wimana.
Nice.
So that's the combination that I came up with for my writer's alias.
When did you start writing?
About high school, I started around fifth form. I had a friend. I wonder if he's watching this. Mikesi Baines. That was the poet that I knew in Bishop's High School, Tobago. And I mean, he eventually pushed me to just write something, and I did. And that's when I figured out that I could actually write poetry. So from that, it was just a hobby. I used to start writing and posting on my Facebook and stuff, and people kept telling me, yo, you should take it serious. You should do a book, you should do music. And so like 4 to 5 years ago, I actually said, all right, I'm going to take it serious. And I opened up a number of social media pages to actually push it and actually establish myself as an official writer.
So at school, you were really good at the language as well, English and literature and that sort of thing now?
To be honest, I was good at writing like essays and stuff. In terms of story and stuff like that, but I never took it, like when I'm writing, I prefer to do it freehand. So you wouldn't see me following like normal rules, like actual formats and stuff when you're writing poetry. So it was wordplay, I like wordplay. So my involvement in music, I used to listen a lot. So I like the wordplay and the rhyming. So that was my original form of rhyming.
Okay, so it was based on music. So you had a love for music. So what did you write about in your poems back in school?
Love,
I mean, some girl.
Love was a love was a big thing when I was writing. I believe in love a lot. Even like if I describe myself, that would be a basis for everything that I kind of write on. Because at the end of the day, the world built upon that. That's the foundation that everything kind of rests upon, whether it's relationships or even just people around you, strangers and everything. I believe that's what it's built upon. So I used to write on that, but I tried to write on topics that people go through, things that people go through. So
real life situations.
Right. So everything from life I used to take and put into words.
So when people read your poems, what do you hope you impart to them?
Me as a writer, I try to, if you read my poem, it's supposed to resonate with you in some way. So I try to write it in depth and try to put my emotion into the words. So anyone reading, they should be able to get impacted that much. So it should be able to expand on a certain topic that most people not writing on, or something that's going on in the world, or someone that's going through something. They're reading it supposed to be able to feel like, all right, someone understands what I'm going through, or uplift their day in some way or form.
Okay, so it's uplifting as well. I'll ask you to read a couple of your poems.
No problem.
Could you tell us some of the names, some of those names of the poems that you've written so far?
In total or just from my books?
Just from your books.
My first book was the puzzle Finding That Missing Piece, and the piece was spelled P-E-A-C-E.
As opposed to P-I-E-C-E.
Yes, my
That's
brother,
cool.
Ali Mayu Chadband, actually helped me come up with the name.
What's his name?
Ali Mayu Chadband.
Oh, wow.
I
wish I could say it like you.
Oh, yeah, no,
So
right?
say that again.
Ali Mayu.
Ali Mayu.
Yeah, but you could just say Mayu for short.
Okay.
That's what I do. I don't really fight up. So yeah, he's a doctor now in Tobago. And I normally, I don't know the titles, so I normally ask him and we go back and forth. And yeah, he helps me along with the titles of the book itself. So the puzzle, I wanted it to be different. So I it's separated into 5 chapters, I believe, because it's a while I did it. And it speaks on love. It tells the story from start to finish. So it spans from being alone to finding someone, and eventually you go through some rough waters, then you have a breakup, and you go through the phase of healing and the dark times and all the all the chaos that been going on in your mind and your heart at that point in time to actually finding true love. So I tried to tell that entire story. So anyone reading could sort of, if you're reading that book, you're supposed to be able to see yourself from one piece to the next, going through the entire story with separate pieces. The names, Hasta la Vista, Circus, some from my
Good
new,
riddance.
no,
You're talking about
I
stage.
should have taken that. Yeah, that was a good one, you know? Yeah.
What about that personal experience? So you write, all of your work is based on your personal experience?
It's mixed with my personal experience and experience of others as well. But there's something I've always been able to do was, I don't know, I could channel what other people go through. So even if I may not actually go through a certain situation, I don't know, I just can't put the emotion into it, so someone reading it would think that, this dude knows exactly what I'm going through.
You have a good sense of imagination.
Yeah.
And you're able to express it well. I'd like to hear some of those.
All right. So this would be, I guess I would read some from my book, Eclipse, that just came out this week. It's a book that I wanted to speak on things that normally not spoken on. It's not something that you're going to read and it's going to tell you. It tries to brighten up your day without actually telling you it. Because at the end of the day, we go through this world and there's a lot of dark things that happen in the world. There's a lot of crime, corruption, women getting abused, kids getting abused, homes broken. You know, there's a heavy weight on women to look a certain way and to uplift a certain standard of beauty. So I tried to put everything that's happening in the world, certain topics that people don't normally speak on, into this book. So it's kind of the dark truths that happen in the world and that happen within ourselves.
Well, I'd like to hear that one, and I'd like to hear the one that you have on the pressure women have currently in terms of their image and beauty.
Okay, cool. So the one, I guess I could read part of it. I don't want to give you the entire. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay,
We're enjoying this. Go ahead.
All right. So this one is named Barbie. This is actually the one with women.
Yes.
Because a lot of women try to reach a certain beauty standard that's kind of tough, but
and
it's
the
basically
European influence as well.
Right. So it's kind of forcing a image on you.
Yes.
So I'll read a couple lines from it. You know.
Right ahead.
And goes waist tortured into curves unfamiliar to its composition, faces airbrushed and hidden under mimic reflection. Colors distorted and washed clean of natural glow. Hair chemicalized with toxins disguised as vitalization. Style embodied by bodies not embroiled in clothing, the irony. Bodies shape-shifting into modes, indistinguishable from originality. Mass deconstruction and reverse engineering to manufacture human dolls which imitate fluidity, yet are far from organic. Oh how they've manipulated the truth, twisting the reality to create fictional beauty.
Fictional beauty.
Yes. That was part of Barbie.
What led to this?
Well, if you know me actually as a writer, I write heavily for women a lot. So I kind of stand behind women because I think at the end of the day, there's the backbone of the entire world and everything make up on, and I think they don't get the respect and appreciation they deserve. So I really write for women a lot. And a lot of people, because I don't show my face much on social media, so even people that reading and stuff, the first thing they assume is two things. They assume it's either a woman and that I'm old. That's the two first things I get.
Because of the perspective,
right. So people know me, so I write a lot for women. So that was just me seeing the way the world is, because it's a heavy thing, and even the celebrities and stuff, it's kind of what's flashed across the screen. So even young women growing up, they're not having that feel like they're beautiful. I know women that they need to do certain things. They're looking at themselves in the mirror and they're not feeling that beauty when they're actually very beautiful. They don't need all the extra stuff, but they're feeling like they have to do it because that is what always flashing in front of them. And it's nothing wrong with, accessorizing yourself and doing things to make yourself feel good. But when it gets to the point when you think you need to do it and you're not comfortable with your skin, so that was where it actually came from.
What about confidence? Do you think a lot of women lack confidence? Perhaps that is why they try to follow the European style.
Yes, that is true, but I wouldn't necessarily put the blame on them.
Okay.
Because it's, as I said, it's what's being forced down their throat as
and
this is beautiful.
As well.
Exactly. That's what they're seeing, like this is what beauty looks like.
Yes.
So when they're seeing it right through, they're now looking at themselves like, I don't have that. So which means at the end of the day, it means I'm not beautiful. So I think that's where it stems from with that.
What are some of the other poems you have?
Tell me what you want to hear. I have on Heartbreak. I have on
You have anything on
Woman
crime, issues that we currently face?
Can I?
Yeah, or anything that
Yeah,
that you would like to share with us and we could
one.
possibly discuss here. And this is your third book, and you also mentioned to me that you have a second book that is actually free.
Yes, its name is Caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
Yes, it's actually free, and you can download it on my website, www.iwimanac.com. That's www.iwimanac.com. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You'll see in the tab, you'll have the book section and my books listed for where you can get each. So once you click on the Caterpillar, you will get a description and the link to go download it. So it's a free book that you all can put together as a thank you and a gift for all the love and support I've gotten from people.
And you also mentioned that the first book that you wrote was like a story as opposed to just poetry.
Right. See, I actually did the first book and I scrapped it. So, because when I now started, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what was going on. But eventually, I really pushed and I said I wanted the first book to be something different, something unique that people normally don't do. So I scrapped the entire idea and I started from scratch. So it's separate pieces, separate poems. But each poem connects to the one before. So it needs to run from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. So it's separate pieces, but they kind of follow up from the one before.
And it's in the form of a story.
Right. So it kind of it reads you as a whole storyline of someone going through the entire process. And not just like separate pieces.
What are they going through? What is the story about?
Right. It's heavily based on the love aspect. So normally a lot of people, we're human. So you want to feel loved. You want that companion that, you know, this person is my home. This is where my heart can reside and be comfortable at. So a lot of people seek that, and it's fairly natural. So there's a phase where you're normally alone, and in that phase, a lot of things can happen. And that's where people normally you end up settling for certain things because you're holding yourself at a certain quality and you're looking for it. But the reality is that it's not that easy anymore to find that certain quality. So people end up kind of dropping their standards, and things happen. You get with somebody, and sometimes, unfortunately, the person that you're with, the image that they portrayed is not really that. So it tells that story. So that from alone and everything you're going through then, everything going through your mind, every emotion that you're feeling, until you find that someone, and the feeling changed. So now you're feeling happy and everything. And then it tells it flows into when things actually start to go shaky. So it tells also everything that going through your mind and heart at that point in time. And then it tells when things get really bad, and then it goes into when things eventually break up, when you actually realize like, hey, this person is not the one for me, and this person kind of not treating me as I deserve to be treated, and kind of betray you in the love aspect. So and then it tells you have to go through that phase, and eventually it leads up to where you actually find your actual soulmate, the person you actually connect with on that level. So it tells, it was difficult to do because I was trying to, anyone picking up the book and you read that, you should be able to feel that emotion and look within yourself and say, damn, like this is exactly what I went through. This is what I was feeling at that point. And then this happened to me, and then I moved from here to here. But I also wanted to give a happy ending because a lot of people after a while, they go through certain things, they sort of phase out. They lose hope like, no, this love thing, it ain't real, you know?
But it worked out for you.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
So just to remind us, where can we access your work, your book?
I would direct everyone to my website because there would have the links to everything. My first book is on Amazon. So it would, in my website under the books tab, it would give a description of the puzzle and everything. And it would have the link below to direct you to the site. Caterpillar, it has the link for you to download it. And Eclipse as well have a description, and it has a link to my now publisher, to their online store for people to order. So everything's kind of online. So once you order, it would be built and shipped directly to where you are.
And that link is, very slowly,
www.
dot
I
W I
M A N A C.com.
.com.
I think that's correct. Yeah, I'm still getting familiar with my second name.
That's fine. You speak very quickly, but
yeah, that's cool.
It's fine. We've been chatting with the man himself, Chadband, an author from Tobago. We hope to have you again sometime so we can get a little bit more into the actual poems and work that you do.
Very much.
We'd like to talk about the challenges you face and so many other things.
There's so much on the journey, so it would be appreciated if
we'd love
I
to
could come
have you.
back
I'm
and
sure
have a
viewers enjoyed this
conversation.
conversation, but I certainly did.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we take a short break. Much more when we return.